इतना सफर है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानपुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Good afternoon, one and all. Franchise India, yes, a name which is providing platform to all international national brands since 1999 to expand their wings and brand through our network, channel and offices. And we are also helping all our potential business buyers to get their brand dreams from us. We welcome you to the 65th edition of Business Opportunity Vichai, an initiative which we took on 1st of July 2020 and still continuing. Today we are presenting you one another important brand so that you can select your dream business opportunity from us. This particular webinar is hosted by Mr. Maria, who is a chairman at Franchise India Group. He's a CEO at Remax India and Equity India. We also welcome our second panel member, Ms. Sonia Chaudhary. She's the MD at Franchise India Brands Limited and Director at Remax India. We welcome both of you. With this welcome, we also welcome the brand of the day. Animesh, I would request if we can go to the next slide. Yeah, the brand of the day is Sayos Orchard, and we have privilege that we have Animesh Tyagi, who is a business head, and Ranjit Sen, who is the head new initiative team from Sayos, to talking about this great brand which is known for organic beauty and healthcare product. It's India's first ever brand offering accelerated Ayurveda to all those people who are suffering from acute and lifestyle diseases. We welcome both of you to talk about this great brand and what kind of the value proposition you're offering to all our investors. Thank you so much for joining us today. Over to you, sir.
Thanks team, and thanks Franchise India for giving us an opportunity to talk about our brand. We are a team that represents Koei Pharmaceuticals, which is launching the brand Soyos in the market today. So before we talk about what Soyos is and what do we stand for, let's talk about our parent company, Koei Healthcare, a company based out of India with a strong intent to have a global footprint. The organization is known for its delivery and performance. Within the first 3 years, the organization achieved 100 crore plus business. And today we are poised to do a 300 crore plus top line in this year. We have an all India presence across the length and breadth of the country. We are great, we say that, but then the world agrees to it and the country agrees to it. We've been awarded throughout our journey so far with awards like the Young Company of the Year. Economic Times has awarded us as the best emerging pharmaceutical company in the country. What are our strengths and capabilities? We basically, the three most important aspects, which is manufacturing, supply chain, and customer base, forms the three pillars of our endeavor and journey so far, and has helped us to reach the place where we are today. Who are our visionaries? So the two stalwarts which have created the most successful company in the pharma space ever seen are Mr. Pritish Toraskar and Mr. Ravindra Shenoy. Both of them have 25 years of plus experience in the sector and have worked with top names in the industry like Lupin, Novartis, Alchem, Cipla. In their last profiles, both of them were heading in India businesses for two big companies, one of them being Mylan India, the other being Aurobindo Pharma. So these two visionaries have led the company to the success it sees today. And what is the way forward? What are they thinking now? So now they want to move beyond illness, because today our entire business is focused on illness, which is pharmaceutical allopathic drugs. We want to move ahead from that to wellness, look at nutritional supplements, and focus on proactive healthcare. Now, proactive healthcare is nothing but where the customer is looking at moving ahead and looking at a preventive way of or a healthy lifestyle. What do we intend to do in this? We intend to move into a health and wellness space. We have future projects lined up in nutrigenomics, predictive genomics, pharmacogenomics, immunity genomics. So the entire business is to look at proactive healthcare going forward. Now the health and wellness aspect, where we want to move into from illness. So it's a great opportunity. If you look at the overall market for health and wellness in India is estimated at 490 billion. And what is the major factor driving this? The major factor driving this is the consumer awareness about the allopathic or the chemical medication available and their short-term and long-term side effects. So that's one of the key reasons why today the wellness market in India is growing. And how is it growing? So if you look at a couple of decades back, the industry was primarily unorganized and was running at regional and maybe geographical levels. But today the industry is holistically moving into an organized segment with big brands and big names coming into the segment. Also, Ayurveda, which is one of the biggest segments for health and wellness, is basically the natural extension for any business to move into. So how do we look at the Ayurveda market? Well, the growing number of lifestyle diseases is making wellness extremely relevant today, as we discussed in the last slide. The growth of the Ayurveda business in India itself is going to see a 30 to 35% cumulative growth over the next 5 years. Traditional products and services have always appealed to the larger segment, and rising number of exclusive showrooms and increasing availability of Ayurvedic products is also making the category extremely attractive. Now, what is Coe doing? Coe is introducing the brand Swayos. Now, what does Swayos means? Swa means self and Yos means health. So Swayos together means self-help. We've taken a leaf out of our initial Sanskrit terminology and created this brand. Now, around the world, in what conditions are people looking towards self-help? First, maybe at the level of feeling a little unhealthy or going through some problems, or when they have tried the allopathy medication and the results have not been great for them. So in both these conditions, self-help is now creating its own space in the market. And across all the traditional medicines or self-help options, Ayurveda is considered to be the oldest, safest, and the most respected school of medicine. What is our vision? Basically, we want to play a pioneering role in elevating Ayurveda to Prayorveda. and combining day-to-day foods with wisdom of Ayurveda as a way of life through medical and technological advantage. And our mission, for which we are here today, is bringing accelerated Ayurveda to people, enabling healthier life through both Aushadhis, which is the medicine part, and food, which is the Ahar part, in a convenient and yet affordable way, with enduring commitment to quality, innovation, and integrity. Now, in the current scenario, so we've looked at where the market was moving earlier. But what is the scenario today? Well, the scenario today is an enhanced opportunity for the entire health and wellness industry. Why? Because we are standing at a door, we are standing in a pandemic situation where COVID-19 is basically talking about today largely about the immunity and the need for better immunity to fight the virus. And if you look at all the articles, all the discussions globally happening, today there is an 80% higher surge happening on immunity across the country as well as globe. Everybody today is talking about immunity. What is the role of developing immunity? So preventive or immunity development medications are basically sitting in the health and wellness environment. And in that, Ayurveda plays a huge role in boosting the immunity. This is being said across different articles, different discussions, both at the PMO level by Mr. Modi, as well as all the health experts across the country. So the opportunity is ripe to enter this market today. How do we want to enter that market? So we can always get up and say that, we'll also launch a couple of herbal medications and try to take space in the market. But that's not what our intent is. Our intent is to help build immunity in people in a faster and sustainable manner over a period of years. And how do we want to do that? So we want to do that via two of our product ranges. One is Soyos Aushadh, the other is Soyos Ahar. Now, what is Soyos Aushadh? What is so different about the medicinal part? Well, we present the product range up to which gives us 6 times faster result than any other Ayurveda product available. And how does that work? What we have done is, through proprietary and patented technology, combined Ayurveda and probiotics. Now, what is probiotic? Probiotic is basically for gut health, and it is known in the alcons of medicine and wellness that if your gut is doing well, then 50% to 70% of your health problems get resolved. And what we have done is we've combined the two. We've combined Ayurveda, we've combined probiotics, and what has it resulted in? It has resulted in a 6 times faster result for the patient than a normal Ayurveda or a herbal drug. So if, let's say, a normal Ayurveda or a herbal combination takes around 8 to 12 hours, we are looking at a 2 to 3 hour window to give relief to the patient. The other product range, which is our Ahar range, there our intent is to combine the wisdom of Ayurveda with nutritional supplements and provide a holistic experience to the consumer. And how have we looked at the categories? So we've said that there are 6 categories today which capture 85% of Ayurveda retail segment. So there are single wellness herbs. We've heard the name of Ashwagandha quite a lot in the last couple of months. So we have an Ashwagandha with Pure Veda technology. We have a Haldi tablet. We have a Neem tablet. Similarly, in the digestive care, one of the biggest problems which Indian subcontinent faces is digestion, bloating, and gas. So we have products for that. In nutritional, we are again talking about the second range, which is our Ahar range, where we have combined the ingredients of Ayurveda with vitamins, minerals to provide a holistic experience to the consumer. Then we have the pain segment. Now, again, the pain segment is critical. The minute you're suffering from acute pain, you need a relief. What better way to do it than Ayurveda and a faster result of a allopathic medicine. Then we have sexual wellness and cough and cold. Now we have a SQ range already in place to across these segments to be presented to our partners. Just a look at how would our product look like. This is a product gallery. This is how a Soyos Orchard range would look like. The products are ready. So if you see ashwagandha capsule, appetite and digestion, pain relief, piles relief, acidity relief combinations are already there with us. So are we ready to cash in on the opportunity? So my request today to every person available is to join us as a Soyos franchisee. And what do we commit to deliver to our partners? We commit low investment, high margins, and we commit a quick break even in the current scenario. And how do we do that? We as a company and organization are committed to ensure that each and every franchisee that steps in with us today or tomorrow, we ensure that they are a success. So the first thing which we've decided and ensured on is that every city, every franchisee partner who joins us at a city level will have exclusivity in that city to grow the business. We will ensure a timely delivery of stock and R&D to bring in newer SKUs. So as I said, we have around 15 SKUs ready today to go to market and another 25 in the pipeline. And because of our state-of-art manufacturing, we also have capability to deliver any other combination which our franchise partner feels will help him grow the business in the concerned geography. We will also have a dedicated communication channel for resolving any franchisee query 24/7. Well-networked and functional supply chain system is already existing with us. We will also be doing something which generally franchise brands don't do, and that is to have a centralized marketing endeavor throughout the year to increase awareness and footfalls with regular advertising at the consumer level. We will also have a dedicated activation manager to support the franchise partner in his BTL or below the line activation, on-ground activation activities to ensure that the franchise owner is looking at building the business and not bothered about the day-to-day issues. We will also have a buyback policy for unsold goods, although with certain terms and conditions in place. And the best thing is that we'll have a direct to franchise agreement with the partner. Any questions so far? Or should we'll take them at the end.
Yeah, we'll take.
Sure. Now, how would the model snapshot look at in terms of the investment for the franchisee? So the distribution right fee, which is a one-time fee, is 1 lakh rupees per plus GST. We will have a refundable deposit for the tenure of the agreement, which is 3 years, of rupees 5 lakhs, which will be kind of reversed once the agreement ends, and if the franchise partner or the company, either of them, decide not to continue with the agreement. Total investment for a Soyos franchise today is only 6 lakhs. The first stock billing which we would expect the franchise partner to pick up is around 1 lakh. That's how the model looks at in terms of investments and the first stock billing. Now, how would we ensure that the franchise partners are getting successful? I think the first thing and the foremost is that they need to have high margins, which will help them sell more in their respective geographies. So we have planned to have a 45% margin on MRP at the time of billing for the franchise partner. Another 5% on MRP additional discount up, for in perpetuity for the first 20 franchise partners who join us. 2.5% on the ground marketing budget, which is SOP dependent for the franchise partner. So a total margin of 52.5% will be offered to our franchise partners who join us at this stage. The only thing to keep in mind here is that there will be no change in margin if we run any special promotions or discounts, which would be seasonal or either dependent at an institutional level. Now, as I spoke earlier, we would be giving a consistent and a sustainable marketing support to the franchise partner in the select geography. We would have 3 parts to it. One would be digital. We would run digital campaigns across the platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram to ensure that customers can go out to the retailer and buy the product. We will also be doing geo-targeting in the specific locality and geography where the franchise partner wants us to through print and radio. And we will also have an on-ground support, and there'll be activations across the retailers in terms of hoardings, signages, and whatever other little small activities required. So as we've discussed so far, we intend to provide an excellent support at each level. So we will give advice on various agreements the franchise partner wants to enter into with either with the stockist or with the retailer. We will have training and induction happening for the franchise partner, centralized marketing activities, guidance on point of sale branding, which is basically at the chemist level. And we will also be providing support with an activation manager, which will be dedicated from day one to the geography. Now, how does the opportunity overall looks like in terms of earnings and expenses? So how it works is that a franchise partner can sell up to 1.68 crore in a year, in a 12-month period. What does he have to do for that? All he has to do is activate 750 retailers in a year with him. And how does each retailer function? We expect each retailer in a month to sell only 12 units of the entire range. Now, what does that 12 unit in a month come out to be? It looks like only 3 units a week, which should sell from that retailer, with all the marketing support and activities which we would be doing at his place. And what does the average spend look like? So the average spend which we have seen for our customer would be somewhere in the range of 299 rupees per purchase. And annual sale per retailer would be around 41,000 rupees. Now, if these benchmarks are mapped, which are very, very simple to do, if we follow the SOP which we are going to lay down, what is the gross margin going to look like? The gross margin is going to be around 22.8 lakhs. And how does that get spread? So total distribution margin, which we spoke about earlier, was 52.5%. Out of that, 11% is his gross margin. 2.5% is his marketing spend, which we will be giving to him. And 39% margin will be spent in the channel. So he will earn 22.8 lakhs as a gross earning after giving everything away in the channel. And what would his net earnings look like? So how would the expense look like? I have considered 6 lakh rupees as an annual expense in manpower, which comes out to be approximately 50,000 rupees a month, which would mean that he can always hire 3 to 4 people in the geography to specifically focus on the brand. We are talking about a shared warehouse. Because we are looking at a small SKU level at the launch year, we are saying that he can use a shared warehouse as well. We are not bothered about let's say a captive warehouse at this level at this point of time. So marketing spend of 4.2 lakhs, utilities of 2.4 lakhs, and miscellaneous 2.4 lakhs. So after spending all of this amount, his earnings would be around 7.36 lakhs in a year, which comes out to be approximately 60,000 per month he would start earning from day one, if the following sales happen. So what is the chances of this failing? I would say that the only difference which would happen is maybe 10 to 15% in the overall earning, if all the other toll gates are crossed in terms of activating retailers and ensuring availability of product. And is this the highest a person can earn in a year? Well, I would say that no. If somebody is committed and giving a lot of time to the business and ensuring scale up across the geography, by just adding 3 units per retailer per month, the income can go up to close to 11 lakhs, 11.9 lakhs annually, which is close to 1 lakh a month, because all the other expenses would remain the same. And the retailer sales would go up to 51,000 rupees in a year by just adding 3 units, which means that in a week we are looking at 3.5 units to be sold from that individual retailer. And then how would his earnings look progressive over a period of 3 years? Well, as we discussed, the first year he would be earning around 7.4 lakhs with activating 750 retailers and each retailer selling 12 units per month, and the operating margin would be around 4.4%. Now, year 2, he will add an additional 750 retailers and would have around, let's say, 1500 retailers to manage in the geography. And each retailer will grow up to sell, let's say, around 15 units per month. And the operating margin would jump up to 8.8%. And his earnings would become 52 lakhs in a year. Similarly, in the third year, we are looking at close to a crore 38 lakh earning by not adding any retailers, consolidating the 1500 retailers he's activated in year 1 and year 2, and selling 18 units per retailer per month. So the operating margin would turn out to be 14.4%. So what it shows is that in the current scenario, the opportunity is lucrative. It will ensure that the franchise partner entering into the business today will definitely gain a lot of momentum as well as profitability starting from first year itself. Now, what is our expectation from the franchise partner? What do we expect them to deliver? So I think the first step would be to apply and submit documents for financial check with the Franchise India, start discussing the brand and the plan forward with Franchise India. The second most critical thing is basically his willingness to spend 5 to 7 hours on the business every day in the initial stage to ensure that there is a scalability happening in the operations on a month-to-month basis. The other thing being activation of 60 retailers in the finalized geography each month, 750 retailers to be activated in 12 months. That's how we've come to the profitability. Sales mix integrity to ensure continuous success. BTL activities to be conducted. So all on-ground activities for which the activation manager is there to support the franchise partner have to be ensured that they happen as per the set norms. Fortnightly discussions on the existing business as well as planning and implementation of company ERP for inventory management. I think if these 4 or 5 points are looked upon and followed, the success for the franchise partner is guaranteed. So thank you all, and I'm open for any questions the group has.
Thank you, Ramesh. Very, very useful. I think very elaborate presentation, and we completely agree that the category itself has a huge demand side. While there are many players that come in the business of creating wellness products, and I think, but there's still the demand side from per capita is very, very large, and a bigger opportunity is there. So I have many questions, and we will get deeper into the business model. Because you're starting relatively a new brand in the market, how difficult it is, because one, you're going pan-India and multiple markets and so on and so forth. So what is your strategy of go-to-market? Because I've realized that sometimes the best of the brand and the best of the formulation doesn't get the shelf space, because retailers, the kind of retailers we are looking at, what is your strategy? How you ensure that they get the shelf space? Because I see a lot of companies come to us and say, we try it out, but the retailer is not keeping the product, or he's already keeping some competitive product. And Indian stores are very small. They don't have too much of shelf space to launch a new product. What is your go-to-market strategy?
Yeah. First of all, so just before I answer that question, Gaurav, once again, thank you for the platform. To have a pinpointed answer to your question. So first of all, you know that the question has, the answer has got potential to go into multiple directions, but I will stick to the biggest support that will be there to get the shelf space. As Animesh pointed out, we have a product in a couple of products in Swayos Ahar range, which once our prospective partners start discussing with us, we will put them on the table. These are patented and protected formulations, and these are differentiated formulations which itself will help get the shelf space. So the formulation itself has the or the product itself has the power to get itself on the shelf. That is one. We would obviously, these products would be riding along with that product to get on the shelf. Number one. Number two is all the retailers who sell Ayurveda. There is no differentiation that has come in Ayurveda over a long period of time. This is the first time that we are putting a patented technology within Ayurveda, which we named ProYurveda, which is infusion of probiotics along with Ayurveda, and it makes the drug work 6 times faster than a normal Ayurvedic product. So as we said, safety of Ayurveda and speed of allopathy is the combination within the product. Basically, we believe that the strength of the product and the differentiated tip of the spear that these products will carry, which we are not presently opening up today, but we will put that product on the table as the franchisees come to discuss with us, will have enough strength to take them to the shelf. Along with that, we will have sampling, the activation manager support, which will be there on ground in each geography, will, as a first tactic to the market, do sampling activities. And we will do large scale sampling so that people in and around wherever the retailer shops are getting activated would get a taste of the product and would get a taste of the delivery that the product can give.
Yeah, sure. So I think absolutely this strategy works because end of the day, you need to seek the consumer demand, and consumer demand for a product which they have not used it, unless and until you sample it out and do a lot of unit level promotions. A lot of promoters are available in the stores, and I think you need to rotate this market to market, a lot of promotion, a lot of activations, and more the patient or consumer starts using the product and sees the benefit, it becomes subscriber and the demand is created, and the loyalty would for a retailer and for a customer starts coming in. But obviously for our audience to know that they have to work with you very closely to create a full strategy, because I feel that in most of the cases, the biggest job is go to market, and a go to market means the early customers are very important to come and subscribe, and every market also has opinion makers, and opinion makers are people who start recommending, and these days we have these micro influencers in every market, and if they recommend that I've been using this, then other people also would buy. So that was one question. The second question, which is also equally difficult sometimes, especially when people get into distribution without having experience in distribution, and they have to service say 750 retailers in year one, and servicing only very small quantities means that you're saying only 3 SKUs they would sell or things of that nature. To get these 750 and then to also drive sales out of these 750 and also continue to feed these 750 stores with such a small quantity, how the supply chain efficiencies would work. And that's one. Second, the stock levels which you maintain in this, because you're giving only 1 lakh rupee stock. 1 lakh rupee stock with 750 retailers would not last. So which means that they need to bring in more stock capital, or you would extend it to the 5 lakh you've taken. You will extend that against that 5 lakh rupees of deposit which you've done.
Yeah, so the first stock that we are giving, we estimate that this stock will last for
around 45 days.
So the first stock that we are giving, which is about 1 lakh worth of stock, in our calculation, it will last for about 40 to 45 days in the first level activation. The speed will obviously pick up as we go ahead in time, as more retailers are get activated and as the consumption grows. As you rightly said, we do sampling, we get more subscribers, and so it's an organic process. It will happen in a bit of a time. We anyway are extending 21-day credit. So it is not a cash and carry. we will give the stocks. As the stocks get exhausted, they can ask for more stocks. Now, there are 15 SKUs. So obviously, the first supply would be on a sales mix assumption and discussion with the partner. However, further supplies would be of things which are moving. So they can always place the order. We will have a company-based ERP which will tell us what to replenish and what not to replenish. They can place the order. They will still keep getting 21-day side. In case the order bloats, we have the 5 lakh security deposit with us, against which the stocks can always be collateralized.
What is the average stock levels you would like to maintain in a retailer? What kind of stock level each retailer would maintain?
So the retailers are anyways in a habit of, if supplied well, they are in a habit of giving 2 orders a week. Now, we know that because we are deep into pharma business. We deal with more than 3.5 lakh retailers on a monthly basis through our distributors. Nowadays, retailers are, they work on the stock turnover formula. So faster the stock moves, they really do not want to invest into inventory. So they give approximately, so big retailers give 2 orders to big distributors who have that kind of supply chain and who have that kind of supplies. They give 2 orders to retailers. As we go lower in size, you can see that, I mean, nobody gives more than, less than 1 order a week and, less than 4 orders a month. So it's always in multiples of that too. We are getting ready. We think that our partners should spend, why we are saying that they should spend around 5 to 7 to 8 hours a day on this business is because we think at least 1 supply a week or 2 supplies a week will be required. That kind of intensity will be required in the market. Therefore, the activation manager, dedicated activation manager to every franchisee at this state. Therefore, we are saying that 4 people would probably have to be taken as the runner boys who would run in the market and create this kind of efficiencies of supplies.
Excellent. So and there is also a big problem in this business because sometimes if you get a retailers and you put the stock there and stock doesn't move, so you have a challenge of recovering the stock back from a retailer because everything works on a credit. So how do you ensure that the distributor partner or a franchise partner doesn't lose money? Because I've seen a lot of times a franchisee just in the rush of getting some retailers where they think that the stock would move, they put the stock and later they are not able to neither recover stock and neither get credit, get the monies for that business. So it creates a lot of negative structure. So would you work with them because you have already experience and working with large retailers, your team members would work in terms of ensuring that at least the early point of sales for them creates some kind of throughput and so they can able to recover the monies in a right cycle?
Absolutely. So we have, anyways in our ongoing business, we have more than 1,500 feet on ground. And we have ongoing retailer relationships. Wherever required, they will be put to use.
And now going to a lot of people asking competition, while product differentiation you have already touched upon, so I don't want to go into product distribution, but on a pricing viewpoint, where do we stack up, 2, 3 or 4 key players? What is the pricing structure? And also if you can do trade margins, how we are better or comparative or a structure in the trade margin side.
So if you look at, let me take the trade margin side first, and then I'll come to the pricing. So in the trade margin side, if you look at brands like Kapiva or Baidyanath or I would say Zandu or Dabur. So all of them today function at a distributor margin of around anywhere between 20 to 25%. Looking at the brands they have. Now, on the other hand, we are saying that because we are a new company in the brand and we do understand that, a franchise partner would need some space to move the product ahead in the channel. We are saying that we would actually go up to around close to 50% on the product margin itself and another 2.5% to support them in marketing that product on the ground. So in that sense, we are well placed. We have kept this aspect in mind while building the entire model. So I think we are good. We are good there. Now let's come to pricing. So if I price myself to the Kapivas of the world and the Baidyanath of the world in the segment of immunity and wellness, then I am priced competitively. If I price myself to a very, very regular run-of-the-mill herb of Dabur, then I would look around 20 to 25%, slightly on the higher side, on a premium side. But I think that would get covered by the 6x faster result which my product would give. So in sexual wellness, if my product is going to give a 6x faster result, or in pain relief, then definitely, it's worth spending 25 rupees more, let's say on a 100 rupee MRP.
Allow me to come in over here. So if we talk of single herbs, we might be at a 10-15% premium. If we talk of combinations like the piles relief formula or the pain relief formula,
acidity relief.
Or the acidity relief formula, we are pretty competitively marked around. So with Baidyanath and Kapiva and Zandu, we are competitive. With the lower end of Himalaya products and the lower end of Dabur products, we are at a 10-15% premium.
Okay, that's very helpful. Now, before I bring in Sonia, so I would like to take up another few questions. So in this business, online and direct sales is becoming much bigger. So how do you going to be integrating your distribution or a franchisee partner with this? Because there is a opportunity. I personally feel more than only retail, direct sales and online is going to be a huge opportunity. So is there an integration, because that can improve their margin, because they don't have to share the margin with the retailer, and that margin can be utilized for their retail or distribution strategy?
Absolutely. So wherever we have a franchisee partner, the fulfillment will be done by the franchisee partner. The acquired orders, we will only do order acquisition and we will pass on the fulfillment to the franchisee partner. Wherever we do not have a franchisee partner, till we have a franchisee partner, the company will do the fulfillment. If our franchisee partners tell us that they can take care of an X amount of geography, which can always come in discussion for online fulfillment, we can always pass it on to them. So we as a company do not have the intent of keeping the order with us and fulfilling it ourselves. We are creating franchisee partners for order fulfillment, whether the acquisition is online or on ground. And that would be the outlook for the time to come.
And any considerations on direct sales? If the franchisee wants to also put up maybe a direct sales team and consumer these days buy a certain, because it's a subscription product. If I say start using a particular herb, then I need it every month, that piece. So it becomes a direct sales kind of a structure. So you can get obviously extra margin on that.
Yeah, so we can always help the franchisee set up the direct sales model. As a company, we cannot. So the agreements within that model will have to be driven by the franchisee and the operatives of the direct sales. As a company, we cannot get into those agreements. Our agreement would be with the franchisee. The franchisee can always set up a direct sale channel, and we will be more than willing to help them set it up.
Absolutely. Now I'd like to invite Sonia for her questions and little remarks on the category.
Thank you so much, Ranjit and Animesh, for this presentation. I was, while you were talking, I was going through some of the questions which people wanted to perhaps understand. And just to add, while India is leading as far as medicines are concerned, and India is also the second largest exporter of Ayurvedic medicines and alternate medicines to the world, which I'm sure not everybody knows. And a lot of developed countries and economies, they dominate in spending, and countries like us, which is India, we are emerging ones, and we dominate in growth. So the last few years, we have seen a lot of companies which have emerged in this segment, and we've also seen, which I could have even seen the presentation that you gave, the consumption of this category is increasing in the last few years. Something I wanted to have maybe your own feedback, and I see that coming from a lot of years also. Typically, if we talk about the sales that happen from a typical pharmacy store, that's an average of about 4 to 5 odd lakhs, if I take it like that. And these 70-50 stores will be a combination of stores which would do well and some of them would not do well. I wanted to understand, what are the various brands or categories one would compete with. So, even in the same category, there are many other brands at the store level. One, obviously, there are many brands at the national level in the market where maybe the brand would compete. But there's another competition at the store level also. So typically, how many brands at the store level would the brand compete with is one of the questions which I wanted to ask you.
So at the store level, any pharmacy, so we will have to look at it, we'll have to take a step back and look at it this way, that the Indian pharma space, inclusive of wellness, has more than, say, around 3.5 lakh SKUs. So out of 3.5 lakh SKUs, the topmost retailers also can actually keep only, the best of the retailers do not keep more than 20 to 25,000 SKUs at a point in time in their store. So what a retailer keeps is what moves. This is a chicken and egg. So if it does not move, he will keep it for 3 days. Next time when your guy comes, he will give it back and say, "Ki ye to chalta nahi hai." So if we are talking about Ayurvedic, and within Ayurvedic, the segments that we have chosen are the fast moving segments. So our brand will have to, on a national level, there would be some local players also. So let's say UP or Uttarakhand has a lot of local players. Kerala has a lot of local players, but West Bengal will not have local players. So that is a regional flavor which will change from place to place. But the brand will have to compete with, at least in these categories, in every category on an average, at least 2 to 3 brands, which are national in terms of their presence. In some places, there would be another brand added, which is local or the regional player of the place. The challenge over here will be to get the stock moving.
Right.
So, and hence, the requirement for the activation manager to be dedicated, put by the company on the company's payrolls, put in the franchise's geography.
Okay.
Because it will be one of the KPIs of the activation manager to team up with the franchisee's boys and to create point of sale activities, which increase. So in the first 3 months, we are saying which increase induction of trial. So use the samples, use company promotion, do on ground, on site activation, and increase the stock turnover. Once a couple of people start taking the medicine and they start coming back to the retailer, this will fall in a cycle. It will fall in an inventory cycle. He will know whether he is maintaining 3 days of inventory or 6 days of inventory. And the activation manager will have to move to the next retailer. So we will give SOPs for his work plan also. So with our years of experience in pharma, we understand how to work the market to get the retailers on board. That is an understanding which sits with the team, and we will help the franchisees along with the activation manager to do the same.
All right. Now, the question we wanted to also, help the audience understand. We talked about 750 stores overall, which one needs to acquire and supply the products to. And on an average, we took a figure of about 40,000, which annually should come out from these stores. But we also understand that the sales across these stores will not be same. So out of these 750 stores, what is the percentage or number of stores you feel which will give consistent business over a period of time? Because that's something where the partner needs to focus more, that 20-80% rule, there will not be 750 stores that give similar business. So in your experience, how many of these would give what kind of business?
So see how the market looks like. When we came out and said that, we want 750 retailers to be activated, what are we saying here? In any geography, if you look at, there are around 2,500 retailers available on an average. servicing around 8 to 10 lakh people on an average. So out of those 2,500, we are saying that once you start activating retailers, by the end of the first year, you would land up with around 750 active retailers. Now, out of this, there'll be close to 30% retailers who would be doing, let's say, almost 65 to 70% of your bulk business. That's why we've averaged it out. We're saying 3 units per week per retailer. That's how it will not cut ice. There'll be geography where a retailer would possibly end up selling 10 units a week. And in a geography, there would be a retailer who would end up selling maybe 1 unit a week. So that'll get averaged out. But what our understanding is that almost 30% of the 750 we're saying should contribute around 70-75% of your business.
Okay, great. That's important to know. And because I see people talking about the stock and this, what happens to the stock which remains unsold? And this could be stock at the retailer. It could also be the stock lying with the distributor himself. What happens to that stock, and what is the typical shelf life of the stock?
Sure. So let me tell you that shelf life for our stock is 3 years from the date of manufacturing. The other thing being, we in our plan, which we discussed earlier, we've already built in a factor of stock buyback, which once, we get down on the table with the franchise partner and he buys the first lot. And in the first 60 days, he will realize that, okay, out of the 15 SKUs, let's say 8 of my SKUs are moving faster than the balance 7. So for the balance 7, we will have special promotions. Once post the special promotion, the stock doesn't sell, we will have a way of taking the stock back, and for that same value, giving him stocks for a running product. So let's say we take back 100 rupee value of stock. We will give him sellable goods of 100 rupees, the stocks which he wants, which he believes will sell well in his geography.
So, just to, so the long and short of it, Sonia, is that expiry, breakage, and unsold stocks are company's responsibility.
Okay, great. I think I'm missing in between because of the connection. But one question which I want to take up is what is the kind of gestation, one franchisee or one distributor would need, because of the credit line is big, and unless the stock is selling at the retailer outlet, the franchisee or the distributor does not recover the money. So typically, what is the working capital he would need, and what is the gestation one should be ready for?
See, whatever we've seen in the market so far in the wellness space, and especially in the current scenario where, immunity and wellness is the buzzword, we see that, if the franchise partner is committed and actionalizing the activation of retailers and making the stock available, and with our marketing support standing at the back, it should not be more than 45 to 60 days. He should be up and running in that period.
Okay, great. I'm seeing more questions, Animesh and Ranjit, which are coming up. I'm afraid we'll not be able to take all these questions because of our paucity of time, and perhaps we'll take these up independently with you. And
Sure.
Before we sign off, maybe last words from you that you want to share with the audience, and Gaurav, any word from you that you want to say to the audience before we sign off?
Sure.
So all I would like to tell all the people attending is, number one, thanks for your time. Thanks for everybody's time. A lot of thanks to the Franchisee India team, because this is only the culmination of all the efforts which have been going in for some time now, and the team has worked very closely with Animesh, and I've seen all the hard work that has gone in. So a big thanks to the entire team of Franchisee India. To the people to all the attendees, I would like to say is that Ayurveda, alternative wellness, and immunity are going to be here for the next 3 years. So we cannot look beyond that, but at least for 24 to 36 months, this is going to be the buzz in wellness. Here is a product which is technologically differentiated, patent protected, and a company which has a success pedigree of creating the creating the most successful pharma startup of India is backing it. We can all come together and we can all make it worth all our whiles, is all I would like to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So very useful. I think also very interesting from an investment viewpoint. You get exclusivity of your city. So you are the only distributor. It's a long-term business model. And I know a lot of people who started with this stage in the distribution, and the business when becomes bigger and over the brand becomes bigger, the kind of returns you will get. I mean, I know people who have become at the same stage when Himalaya was launching, became a distributor with Himalaya. And now if you know their volume and businesses, because we sometimes get a lot of inquiries, people come to now want to take from a mature company distribution. That doesn't come because mature companies already have seasoned distributor and they don't change. So it's always good to join a company which is progressive and has a very promising product. Join with them at this stage. It gives you an advantage. You get an exclusivity of territory. Second, you can get started with a very small amount. You only actually technically investing only about a lakh of rupee as a franchise fees. Rest is deposit. So you really don't have any risk on that. So it cannot be better than this from an investment viewpoint, but you need to put your first 6 months. 6 months to build your channel base. If you are able to build a channel base, then this business is for you. And this you would see in almost every company. You will see some distributor of Himalaya are very, very strong, very big business in that territory. Some distributors are not so strong, not so great business in that territory. Distributor plays a very important role in building that marketplace. So understand your market well. If you have anything which is complementing, reach out to Franchise India. We have a business hotline number also. We'll be more than happy to connect with the team there and see the product, understand the product, and then get started. And because they're already in a big pharma business, they will be also able to extend a lot of relationship with you and guide you through to become a successful distributor. So your last words, and then we can call.
Yeah. Thank you everyone. Thank you Ranjit and Animesh for coming in today and making this presentation. And this was very insightful information that you shared, because a lot of people are asking about the brand. And just to reiterate, I think many of them might have missed the first slide. It is a part of a company which has been a big manufacturing pharma company in India. And they are 66th ranked, if I'm correct. That was last year ranking for you. And there are about 10,000 manufacturers in India and about 3,000 pharma companies. And amongst them, they have been ranked 66 as a position. And Swayos is one of their product lines or brand they have launched in this category. So we'll take up these questions and we'll try and see, how we filter these and the locations that we want to enter between today and tomorrow. Any specific locations, Animesh or Ranjit, that you want to mention as your priority city?
As of today, we are open. As of today, in the current scenario, we are open to partner franchisees across geographies.
Across the country. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Over to you, Archana.
Thank you.
So thank you so much all the participants who have joined us. We could achieve our 65th episode of webinar because you guys are showing that love and effort towards us. We want to thank Ranjit and Animesh for sparing time and talking about this great brand. Thank you so much our panel member Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am for taking our time and sharing your thoughts, insights about the brand. As we have recently launched our business hotline number and we are getting queries from pan-India investors, we would love to help you. Please connect with us at our hotline number, which is 97176-83838. Please note down, I'm repeating 97176-83838. That's the number where you can connect with us. You can also connect Mr. Maria and Ms. Sonia Chaudhary at their respective LinkedIn ID. That's the information at your screen. But before you go and we say final goodbye, tomorrow it's Friday and it's special for us. It's double special for us tomorrow because we are doing 2 great webinars. First, sharp at 12, we are offering you top 5 business opportunity from different verticals. Yes, you can join us tomorrow, sharp 12. The registration link has already been given at your respective chat box. You can see that chat tool. And at 4 p.m. we have NRI Franchisee Show, which will be hosted by Gaurav Sir, Venus and Akshay, who is our partner from Singapore. And we are offering you top 10 national and international. So you have a chance where you can interact with 15 national, international franchisee opportunities tomorrow. And you can select one brand for you and your family. With this information, we would like to sign off for today. Do take care of yourself, stay safe, stay healthy, and do connect with us at our hotline number 97176-83838. Thank you so much from our side.
Thank you.
Thank you.